Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Are you feeling charitable? Then smash the subscribe button and the like button, and please do follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Man, and welcome to Sunday's edition of the DCEU Daily. Do you like my Superman robe? This is from my brother in the UK, and I love it. Look at this. Can we turn around? Yes, it is awesome. So that's what I'm going to be wearing in today's edition of the DCEU Daily. So on today's show, I want to discuss what kind of batfleck we're going to get in Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's something very, very few people have discussed, because if you're a fan of Ben Affleck's iteration of Batman, you're going to be a fan, really, of what happened in the kind of ultimate edition of Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. And that's a gritty Batman. It's an older Batman. It's a cynical Batman. And it's a brutal Batman. And after everything he's seen and been through in his life as Batman, you can understand where he's coming from. Also, you know, Joker killing Robin, whether it's Dick Grayson or Jason Todd, is immaterial. So he's been through a lot and he's had enough, because it's like when he says to Alfred, you know, criminals are like pulling up weeds. You pull out one and another one grows in its place. He's tired of doing this. He's tired. He thinks he's wasted his entire life. He's tried his best to fight crime, to make Gotham a better place for the good people of Gotham, and it's just not working. So when he sees the Battle of Metropolis and what happens between Zod and Superman, he's angry, because now not only does he have to fight ordinary villains, there's this alien threat. And yes, he does see Clark as an alien threat. And the more he sees, because he doesn't decide he wants to kill Superman when he sees the Battle of Metropolis. It's when the Senate building explodes. That's when his mind's made up. You let your family die. Lex is pushing him and manipulating him, as he's doing to Clark as well. But I think the manipulation, even though it does work on Clark, it's working even more in a darker, deeper level with Bruce, because of everything he's been through. The manipulation on Clark. Clark sees this guy. He doesn't see Batman as a hero. He sees him as another villain that has to be taken down. And this is why he says, don't shine your light anymore. You know, consider this as mercy. When Superman's talking to Batman at that moment, it's like it's a classic superhero, supervillain kind of warning, if you like. Because as far as Clark's concerned, Batman is a villain. He doesn't know his history. He doesn't know, as a young boy, he saw his parents shot in front of him. And so I think that's very vital. And I think Henry Cavill really kind of explained that in interviews. You know, as far as he's concerned, you know, he's dealing with Batman the villain and not Batman the hero. A very interesting situation, because, as I say, you've got to understand about ideologies and points of view. This is what goes wrong on social media. I'll say something on here. The other day, I was watching one of my live videos. How dare you? I loved your content and now I'm not going to follow you anymore. Because you're not thinking about my point of view. You're just thinking of your own. I think it was the Ray Fisher situation. It was the put up or shut up video, right? But once you understand Batman's point of view and Clark Kent's point of view, then you start to realise why they do end up fighting. And of course, Lex is manipulating this, but it's not just that manipulation. It's working off points of view and perception. This is what happens on Twitter all the time, and this is why we all fight. I watched a lovely documentary about Release the Snyder Cut from comicbook.com. And I'm seeing some of the tweets they were showing, and I'm thinking, wow, there's Film Junkie on November the 17th. And I'm thinking, isn't it a shame? He's blocked me now. We've fallen out. The amount of people we've fallen out within the kind of movement. And I find it kind of sad, really, because we were always after one thing. We stand Zack. We love Zack. You know, next May, when Zack Snyder's Justice League's released, we should be sitting there holding hands, embracing as a family. But instead, we've blocked each other. And, you know, that's a big, big shame for me. But anyway, my point is, what kind of Batman are we going to get in Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is a direct sequel to BVS. So it's important to understand that you are not going to see the same brutality from Batman. He's a lot more of a calmer individual. Don't forget, and Clark's point of view here, that this guy was far too brutal with villains. And Clark would never be that brutal. And I know he killed Zod, but he was in a no-win situation when he killed Zod. That's always important to remember. So Clark wasn't being a hypocrite in BVS. So this is a guy, in terms of Bruce Wayne and Batman, who has been heavily marked by the passing of Superman. He stood there and he fought alongside this pure-hearted hero that doesn't want to hurt a fly unless he has to, unless he's got no choice. So now he realizes that there's a danger coming. So he builds the Justice League in honor of Clark Kent, aka Superman, and he wants to form this in the kind of way that Superman would, you know, with a no-kill policy, if at all possible, even though we know that Wonder Woman chops off Steppenwolf's head, that there really is no choice. And there's what I like about, and I'm sure there was a little theme in Justice League with this, but I think it will be a lot more deeper within Zack Snyder's Justice League. In terms of Wonder Woman and Steppenwolf, this really is personal. There's a personal hatred between the Amazonians and the Apocalyptans, if you like. So that's why I think she actually does it as well. But I do think this is a different Batman that we saw in BVS. In terms of him learning a lesson, he's a lot more, even though he's devastated by the loss of Superman, and that drives him, he does certainly believe, and I think even in Justice League, and I think this is what Zack's going to cover in this film, maybe the sequels, if they're going to happen, that actually Bruce Wayne believes it was him who should have died, and not Superman. He says something very interesting to Alfred in Justice League, and I don't know if this is a Zack sequence or a Joss sequence, but he says, you know, this guy was in love. He had a job. He had a life. In other words, look at me. What have I got apart from being Batman? Jack shit. I don't have a love interest, even though he was in bed with someone in the Ultimate Edition of BVS. I don't have a private life. This is my life. You know, if I die, it doesn't matter. Of course, it does matter because he's Batman and we need him and Gotham needs him and the world needs him. Because in the comics, Batman isn't just a Gotham hero. He fights with the Justice League. He fights Darkseid in outer space. There's lots of things that happen. This is a massive, you know, galactic hero, even though he's just an ordinary human in a costume. So the kind of Batman I believe we're going to get from Ben Affleck in Zack Snyder's version is a guy who does believe that he should have died. And he is, and I think there was a kind of commentary here in Justice League as well, and I think it'll be deeper in Zack Snyder's Justice League, that this is a guy who has a death wish. He wants to solve the problem, but if he has to sacrifice his life, he feels it's unfair that Superman is dead and he's not. He feels so bad for the way he treated Superman, right? It's a bit like you argue with someone on Twitter and then they block you and you think, I was a bit harsh. I shouldn't have said those things. I deserve to be blocked. It's like that after the event you think about it, don't you? And I go through those thought processes as well. And so I think he feels bad that Clark sacrificed himself. And in a way, Clark kind of took his moment away from him because it's something he feels he should be dead. And we know the character will die or was originally supposed to die in either Justice League 2 or Justice League 3. Whether or not we're going to get Justice League Series 2 or Series 3 or these sequels, I think maybe if it's officially announced that Zack Snyder's Justice League is actually going to be titled Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 1, that would be amazing. That would be confirmation of sequels. And of course, in between these sequels, sandwiched in, we were going to get Ben Affleck's The Batman, written, directed, and starring Ben Affleck. We were robbed of that. But who knows? Fandom may help us out there. I don't know. I don't know what Ben's thinking. I do know he's got a lot of projects on. But anyway, the more projects, the better, right? Just keep on working, especially these days. But yeah, so I think we're going to get more of a humble Batman. He's still going to be that dark, gritty Batman, and at times he'll be more brutal. And I think he will be harsh with the League sometimes, with the members he brings together. And I think there will be difficult relationships between him and some of them. Maybe Aquaman and Batman still won't get on at the start, which was pretty much the same in Justice League. I think when they first meet, for example, Aquaman and Batman. I think it will be a similar kind of situation where it's awkward between them. But I think it will be more adult than it was. It was very immature the way Joss Whedon did it. So I think this is what we're going to get here. This is still a hero, but he is reinvigorated by the sacrifice of Superman. But he also wishes he made the sacrifice himself, and actually he wants to equal that sacrifice because he doesn't think it's fair. And of course, sacrificing his life doesn't bring Superman or Clark back, but certainly, and this is a character that does have a bit of a death wish in Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I'm very, very excited to see this. But how do you think, what type of Batfleck do you think we're going to get in Zack Snyder's Justice League? Comment down below. Like, share and subscribe. And do you want me to wear this every day on the DCEU Daily? Opinions down below. And I'll see you tomorrow for even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.